I'll try to be brief here. Wanted to just provide a few updates. First, on the benchlands, San Lorenzo Park. Wanted to provide an update to the commission. Over the last week or so, the commission has received a couple emails from me, rather verbose emails, but those are related to the closure of San Lorenzo Park. That's related to the homeless encampment and the process or project to close the park and then restore the park, and meanwhile finding shelter for the many individuals living in San Lorenzo Park. So just by way of some background, on March 8th, the city council directed closure of the park. The city has put together a cross-departmental team from police, fire, public works, parks and recreation, finance, so on and so forth, as part of an incident action planning effort. This is also in collaboration with the county in terms of, again, finding shelter for people residing in the benchlands, relocating those folks, and then working on a restoration project for the park. So specifically, the department and this IAP, or Incident Action Planning team, will close the park, beginning with fencing in the upper park on August 15th. Later date to be determined, closure or some fencing in the benchlands area, and then a process to transition folks out of that space. The city's homeless response action team is also working on a number of shelter locations from the Armory to 1220 River Street and others. So more information to come on those actual shelter options. Wanted to give the commission an update in terms of the benchlands closure that's forthcoming on August 15th. Once the benchlands are cleared and we go into this restoration work, the department recently submitted a request for proposals also to bring on a landscape architect to run a community process on the long-term vision and a redesign of San Lorenzo Park. So we're just now bringing on our landscape architect, our consultant, who will navigate that and really lead that public process for us once the benchlands are closed. So more information to come there from the city. City communications will be coming out this week, and happy to answer any questions on that topic before I move to just two other short announcements.
Commissioner Lee, do you have a question about that? I see your hand raised.
Did you call me?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. You were garbled for some reason on my end. Yeah. So the landscape architect, is that just to get the benchlands redone, or the whole park?
Yeah, the landscape architect that we have on board, and Superintendent Beck is working with them right now, I believe, on a contract. So I don't think we have them officially set just yet. But this was actually a project that has been planned for a number of years. So before the benchlands encampment was in place. So it was the department's intention to really do a refresh or a conceptualization of San Lorenzo Park. So what should the park be for the future? So we'll hire this LA landscape architect to come in and usher this community process. But I think the timing is good on the heels of the closure of the benchlands to really think about both the park itself, the upper park, and the benchlands. So again, it'll be a robust community process. We can really think about do we want to keep it as is, or do we want to completely re-envision it? So anywhere on that spectrum, it'll be an open process here in the coming months.
Thank you for clarifying.
Commissioner Angel, I see your hand.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. I didn't know about the landscape architect firm being hired and all. I just wanted to make sure to put a word out, because I know the neighbors there at the San Lorenzo Park have started organizing the past year and are very engaged, and they kind of spread all the way up into the Central Park, that little tiny pocket park. And so I know that they'll be excited about hearing your plans and want to be engaged. I'm assuming they haven't been engaged yet, but probably when the stakeholders start getting added, I know that they'll be very excited. So cool. Thank you. I'm glad for the update, and want to make sure and put a word out.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Greenside?
Will the children's playground be open when you fence the upper park or closed?
It will be closed. So the entirety of the upper park will be closed. So the playground, the duck pond area, and the lawn bowling green will all be closed. The fencing will run along the edge of the Riverwalk or along the path. So the path will remain open for people to traverse through the park, but all of the amenities in the upper park will be closed.
And what was the rough duration of that, Tony?
We don't have a good sense of that right now. But I'll say that our council policy 7.1, our city ordinance language will require us, and it's our commitment to the commission and council to provide updates every 2 or 3 weeks. Specifically, it's every 21 days on timeline. So we're hopeful that we can move through this expeditiously, but some unknowns with the IAP team as we go through this, but we'll keep the commission and community updated on timing as we move forward.
Thank you. And just a quick last question. The commission, and I think it's related, the commission, quite a number of letters are directed to the commission, but we don't respond to them. And I don't know how that feels to the public. You know, if they send something to the commission, they never receive anything back from us. So at some point, if you could share how that process works, and because I don't want us to be perceived as a body that doesn't care, and if we don't respond, if you respond on our behalf, I think we'd like to see that. But if there isn't a response, then it looks like we don't care. So if you could clarify that process.
Yeah, happy to do so. So yeah, we received a number of emails to the Parks and Recreation Commission email box. We as staff will respond to those, and we'll copy that same Parks and Rec Commission email address in our response to any community member. So before the meeting today, for example, we received a few emails regarding the Harvey West pool. So I personally responded to those over the past 3 or 4 days or so, copied the Parks and Rec Commission. And so if you haven't seen those already, those actually, you will see those. They should be in your email inbox. But also those are recorded in the record of the Parks and Rec Commission. So that communication is there. But certainly, I hear your point about getting a response directly from the commission, and I think it's a good point. And rather than expecting individual commission members to respond to all the emails, that's something I'm happy to work with Chair Brown or the future chair on how we can coordinate that to get a response directly from the commission.
That would be good. For example, the letter from the bowling, which was quite alarming. I didn't see a response to that. Did I miss that? I saw the ones to the pool, the letter writer on the pool. But did you respond to the other one? Or I'm just wanting to know that there's a response, even if it just we received your letter, very thoughtful letter, and we will discuss it, blah, 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 or something.
Yeah, I'm not sure offhand. I would assume that we sent a response to the lawn bowling email to the commission. Let me double check on that. We did have a community meeting with them. Superintendent Beck and I, Mayor Bruner attended that, as well as some of our park staff. And I met spoke over the phone with the lawn bowling club as recently as last Friday afternoon.
Got it. So there's no need for us then but if just we know, like you could send a quick email, commissioners received this letter, if it's addressed to us, if it's addressed to you, different, and we've been meeting and blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? So that there's a full circle there. Thanks, Tony.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. That said, commissioners definitely have to respond to communications to the commission as individual commissioners. If something is shared with the commission and you see that in your email and you want to ask additional questions or comment, you can reach back out as an individual commissioner, as long as you're doing so representing yourself as a commissioner, not the entire committee. But I think your question elevates a bigger question about how does the commission in total respond if we don't agendize an item to speak on it publicly. So I'm happy to work with Director Elliot on some brainstorming for that. I saw Commissioner Angel, your hand, and then Commissioner Mio, and then Commissioner Pollack.
Well, quickly, I just wanted to follow up on Commissioner Greensight's comment about the fencing of the playground. I know that the neighbors nearby had secured an artist, and they had also secured funds to paint the snake or dragon there. And I know they had been asking around to see if they could do that while the fence was done, because that might actually be a good opportunity to do it, where it'd be kind of allowed to dry. What do you think about that? Or is that something I don't know if I think Superintendent Beck has been in conversation with them a little bit about it. Anyway, that was my question. Do you think they could paint the dragon while everything's fenced up?
Yeah, it's a great question, Commissioner. So we're in communication with San Lorenzo Park neighbors, and we're navigating that exact type of nuance or detail. Similarly with the Lawn Bowling Club, they've got some different projects going on, and hope to keep some access to the clubhouse, which is actually good to keep extra eyes on the clubhouse from a safety standpoint. So we're working through some of those nuances. So it's not everything will be closed off to the public, but working with those groups to find those opportunities if they are a possibility.
Okay, great. Thank you. Mr. Mio?
I just wanted to swing back in regards to the landscape architect from Los Angeles. I assume that he was selected because he is familiar with the habitats in the area of the Santa Cruz riparian corridor, et cetera, or was he, or is this redesign happening around the duck pond and the playground, or does it include riparian corridor and the floodplain?
Yeah, thank you for that question. And just to clarify, I use the term LA to abbreviate landscape architect. They are not from Los Angeles, though. But you raise a great question. And if I may send it over to Travis Beck, just for a couple of quick comments on the selection process that we went through.
Yeah, we'll be able to provide more details once the contract is finalized with the consultants, as that will also include a full clarification of the scope, but our intention is to reassess the entire park from Dakota Avenue down to the banks of the San Lorenzo River.
Thank you.
Commissioner Pollack?
Yeah, I'm definitely, this is relating to the emails and communications we get. And I definitely would like to figure out a way to not have people perceive that as a dead end. And again, I'm overstating maybe, but have a way that we as the commission can respond, or that they can, I guess, at some level, some of the suggestions might be to agendize items for discussion if there's a lot of feedback on them. Would be one way. The other would be to encourage folks to come to the meeting and actually say it publicly. I guess can we discuss items if they're in the open discussion section, or is that just a listening exercise? Chair Brown.
Typically, oral communications are an opportunity for the members of the public to communicate ideas or ask questions of the commission about items not on the agenda, but there typically is not a back and forth with the commission during that period. It's an opportunity for them to address us, but not necessarily, unless it's just quickly answering a question or something like that. That's typically the culture.
That's kind of what I thought. So in that light, it would be nice, and I don't know if this is stepping out of the balance, but to have a way of saying, look, we're going to spend 15 minutes discussing some aspect of the communications that we received, so we have an official response of some kind, but at least the potential for an official response, assuming someone makes a motion on some of these. Again, I'm sort of spitballing here, but I would just like to see, again, a better way of listening to the people that are talking.
Got it.
I think is really it.
Okay, well, before I depart, I will certainly have a conversation with Director Elliot and Vice Chair Glavis about how we can improve that back and forth.
Yep.
Thanks for bringing
Thank
it.
you.
Yeah. Okay, Director Elliot, anything further on other topics on your director's report?